Yeah, that sounds about right. Of course, the Lakers on ABC. Yeah, that'll be the Richard Jefferson, Doris Burke. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Game Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code NBSGPN. Get a $1,000 bonus credit. And welcome, everybody, to the NBA Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Game Podcast Network, the second episode of the NBA show today. I'm your host, once again, Scott Reichel, joined by Lonte Smith. Together, we're going to break down the upcoming games. Game 1, we finally got here, the start of the actual playoffs starting tomorrow. So we are going to break down the games for Saturday. Lonte, how's it going with you? A long time no see.
That's right, man. You know, like I said earlier in the episode that we did prior, with the play-ins, man, it's one of the best times of the year, my favorite times of the year. We don't have to worry about a lot of uncertainty. The guys are in; they're going to be playing. We got a lot more to kind of time to like dig into these matchups of the adjustments to in-game and the adjustments from game to game. So yeah, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, so now a reminder, if you wanted play-in thoughts for the games on Friday, we already covered that earlier this morning, so something to keep in mind. Also, do want to briefly announce the schedule for the podcast for the actual games. We're going to be doing it weekdays, normal time. However, on weekends, they want to start games at 1 o'clock. So we are going to be doing some night shows on Friday and Saturday, so just keep that in mind. But in weekdays, you're going to end up seeing the game start at 7. We will do it normal time then. But if you want to know why we're recording so early, it's because there are games at 1 o'clock, and we don't want to do it at the last minute. We want to give you guys extra time to get your bets in. And of course, as a reminder, we are going to be covering every game on the playoffs anyway. The lines don't change that much. The lines come out quickly, so we are going to be doing it rather early in advance. So I wanted to make that known. Am I back with you again tomorrow for the Sunday games? I think Terrell said he can't do weekends, so I think I'm with you again tomorrow.
Hey, man, I'm always here for it, brother.
Cool. So point is, at some point tomorrow, we're going to break down the Sunday games as well. But anything else you want to add before we officially get started? Is there one series that you're more interested in than the others?
Just taking away the Laker fan in me.
That's why I was assuming you take that away. But
Denver Clippers. I think that's the most intriguing series of them all. I mean, just because of the line, it's competitive. I think it's one team. I think it's still 1-10 either way. I think maybe on some books might be shaded to the Clippers. Some books might be shaded to the Clippers. I mean, to the Nuggets, kind of depending upon their liability. But I think that's the most intriguing series. Storylines galore. So yeah, I would be more excited for that series than any other one.
Yeah, I think my answer would be Golden State, Houston. I recognize how interesting that series is with the Clippers and with Denver, but I do think that series on paper is actually pretty lopsided. We'll get into the game 1 breakdown in a second, but the Nuggets are also a team that's been kind of overcoming some turmoil recently, and I wonder how entertaining the series is actually going to be and how much of it is going to be hoping the series is close and one team just kind of dominates. You can argue the same thing for Golden State based on history and how much they've, I'd say, tortured this fan base of Houston over the years, but I have that going 7 games. I think that is an absolute dogfight. I think both teams are wired differently. The Warriors go small. They rely heavily on outside shooting. As for the Rockets, they muck it up and play great defense and have multiple big men. So I see a very interesting battle of styles between those two teams. That is the main series I'm interested in. I think that might be an absolute slugfest from start to finish. Maybe a throwback to late 2000s basketball. First team to 100 wins. That's kind of where I'm focused at, because these teams also hate each other, which I do kind of appreciate for the edginess of the series itself. Before we get into any of the game 1s, though, for the Saturday card, a reminder that we do have a contest with the network for the NBA playoffs. If you want to enter a free contest, pick every NBA playoff game ATS, $1,000 winner take all first place prize. And a reminder, you can also enter the actual competition at sportsgamble.com/NBA playoffs to enter the free contest for a chance to win $1,000 as the grand prize. Starting off, though, with the actual first game of the playoffs, the Bucks take on the Pacers for what feels like the 5th year in a row, but it's only the 2nd year in a row. Pacers are laying 5.5 at home. The over-under is at 224.5. Of course, Dame is out for this game. We'll see when he comes back in the series, or if he comes back in the series. But Milwaukee will have to do it with Giannis and Kuzma and Portis, basically, with no Lillard. I'll ask you for this game, do you like Indiana, or do you want to take the points with Milwaukee?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This is one of the tough series to handicap, even when Dame, if he does come back. It's tough for me to do because I like both teams. These are two teams I basically want to bet on. So I compared it to like when you get the two mid-major teams that you want to back in March Madness and they play each other. So that's kind of what I'm stuck with here. I think we see a high-paced game. The Pacers have been pushing the ball a little bit more. I think their full court pressure will lead to some turnovers for the Bucks because they don't really have a point guard. Giannis has been kind of the do-it-all point guard, and point forward, point center, whatever you want to call them. But I think the Pacers will end up wearing them down in the end. I think it'll be a close, good game. They got familiarity. They got history. It's just that the Bucks, I'm interested to see how they play Halliburton, who they put on him, because he's been pretty good historically against him. And when Halliburton plays well, the Pacers win. I think they're 25-3 this year when he scores over 20 points or when he scores 20 or more.
It sounds right because he's a pass-first guy. So that doesn't
So, and I think that's pretty evident of what their season was like, because if you look at the beginning of the season, we were like, what's wrong with the Pacers? We thought they were going to – well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm just saying.
No, you're right. They underachieved for the first couple months, and they figured it out.
Right, and I think that people were having the same thought process of, hey, this is like the Hawks whenever they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, that little run, they thought it was a fluke. And I think that was directly correlated with Tyrese Halliburton not playing well to start. And then he started playing well, and obviously we've seen them kind of catapult into the position that they are right now. But I do think that the Pacers have a good chance to win this game and this series. But the Bucks, if they were going to steal a game, this is the game to get. I don't think they'll get game 2 once Pacers can adjust. I know you'll talk about it, but I'm worried about their late game execution if it is close.
I'm worried about that for both teams, to be honest.
Yeah. But I'm gonna take the 5.5. I'm gonna go over as well. I think both offenses will be able to score. I have no issue with the Pacers being able to score. The Bucks, I'm wondering where that second and third scoring option comes from. Maybe Brook Lopez steps up, hits a couple of threes. But I do think we see a high-paced game. I think we see both teams get to 115, 116 here, and then we can go over this number. So I like Pacers and over.
Yeah, I'll look at the comment section. I see Johnson who's back. I see Olin applying for a job if he wants to be a co-host on the podcast. That's not my job description. Reach out to Kramer and Sean if you want to try to reach out there. That's how I would go about it. And I see Jexy stopping by, thanking us for making, once again, some profit so far over the course of the season. Hopefully we'll keep it rolling here into the postseason. For this game, though, I think I'm going to go with Milwaukee. You said you think Milwaukee has to take this game if they're going to steal one in Indiana. I don't know about that, but I do think Indiana's overvalued. I think that people are looking at Milwaukee going, oh, they got no chance till Dame comes back. I don't know about that. I think Giannis is a matchup nightmare for any team, especially for Indiana, who he's owned historically. And Indiana's a team that messes around a lot. They tend to let bad teams hang around. They put themselves in deficits and have to come from behind to win. Don't get me wrong, it's impressive they keep doing it, but you can't keep spotting teams 10-plus points in the postseason and get away with it. I think Milwaukee might get carried by Giannis in game 1. Maybe Indiana makes some adjustments as the series goes on, but if Giannis carries this team and drops 40 in game 1 and they find a way to get by, Portis maybe gives you like 20 and 10 off the bench, there's a path there. I can see it. Give me Milwaukee, plus the 5.5. I see a close game. But thoughts on the total?
Yeah, I like over. I mean, I think both teams will be able to score. I think the Bucks have shown that their ability to their defense has picked up a little bit, but I think the way the Pacers are going to play, they're going to make them run. They're going to make them run. They don't want to play half court. I don't think the Bucks want to play against the Pacers half court either. Although the Pacers don't have a ton of rim protection, but they can pack that paint and force guys like Kuzma, Gary Trent, and those guys to make threes. And I don't think you want to do that. If you're the Pacers, I don't think you want to play a half-court game. I think you want to just get up and down and force them to make quick decisions. And the Bucks are the best shooting team in the NBA. And the Pacers' three-point defense at times can be had. The Pacers, I think their offense is pretty steady and it goes as Halliburton goes. So if I like the Pacers in this specific spot, I think Halliburton has a good game. I would look at his assists to go over. I think Siakam's got a good matchup. I think Benedict Mathurin off the bench is going to have a good game. So I'm going to go over. I think both teams will be able to score.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Indiana, of course, wants to play fast. Milwaukee, I don't think I'll have any issues with that because you want to get Giannis downhill. So I'll go with the over as well. I think it'll be a fun game. Again, a close game down to the wire. Most of these meetings are. And last year, Indiana won. Do I care? No, because Milwaukee was missing Giannis and Dame for almost the entire series. So I'm not going to really.
And they still took it 6, though, right? They took it to 6.
Yeah, we thought that Indiana might kill them in Game 5, and then Pat Bev had that game where they ended up blowing out the Pacers in Game 5. Pumped up the
Chris
crowd.
Middleton had a game.
Then they got smacked in the second half of Game 6. But the point is, they were able to push it to 6, and we'll see if Milwaukee can do it in, I'd say, totality this time around at closer to full strength with Giannis. Maybe they'll get some revenge. Game Milwaukee in Game 1. I like Giannis, though, 35 points at plus 155. I think it's a good spot for him to once again dominate. He'll play 40-plus minutes. Good enough for me in that one. Moving on to the next game, you have the Clippers taking on the Nuggets. Clippers favorite to win the series now, but the Nuggets are laying in Game 1. Minus 2.5. The over-under is at also 224.5. And I said before that the injury report should be relatively light because we did see a couple of guys return. Jamal Murray came back. Porter Jr. came back. Of course, Kawhi's healthy for now. For the actual head-to-head history, though, it is currently tied 2-2. However, the Nuggets did win each of the last 2 meetings, but every meeting happened before February, so tough to fully evaluate. You might want to toss that in the garbage. I'll ask you, though, because the Clippers, I picked to win the series. I think you agreed with me.
Yeah, I did.
So you can argue the Clippers might be in a good spot to win Game 1. However, Ty Lue historically, marathon, not a sprint guy. Does tend to punt Game 1s. I actually like Denver in Game 1 here. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of like Denver in Game 1 as well. I like them early also. I think the Clippers they come out kind of like a boxer. They kind of fill out process. I think that's what Ty Lue does with the series. But I think the Nuggets will come out. They'll have energy. It's something that so my thing is the Clippers long term, I think their coaching staff with Jeff Van Gundy and Tyronn Lue are going to adjust on the fly in game. I think it's been known that Tyronn Lue is a really good in-game adjuster. And then on a game-to-game basis, I think him and Jeff Van Gundy will put together something to, kind of limit what the Nuggets want to do.
He recognizes that it's a matter of winning 4 out of 7. He's more willing to punt games than probably any other coach in the league in series, so something to keep in mind. Yeah,
and I just think that the Nuggets coming out, you don't know what Rick Adelman wants to run. Not Rick. Rick is his dad, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, David is. I don't know which Adelman. I don't know which one it is. But he don't really know.
It's David, by the way.
David. So Rick is his dad. I'm sorry. Yeah. So he doesn't really know his tendencies. I mean, he only had a 3-game sample size, so it's hard to kind of watch film in those 3 games to kind of see what they want to do. So I think they'll come out. It'll be not a shock, but it'll be something new that they haven't prepared for as of yet. They're kind of probably just preparing on what they want to do versus not depending on what the Nuggets want to do. So I do think that comes to a little bit of advantage for the Nuggets in the first game. So I'm going to take the Nuggets first quarter. I do like them to win the game outright, but I do think that the Nuggets come out and they're really aggressive and they get things going on the right foot. And then the Clippers kind of chip away and climb back in it, and we get like a classic back and forth at the end of the game. So give me Nuggets, but I like the Nuggets first quarter the most in this game.
I mean, you assume with the actual crowd and the altitude, with the Clippers not playing for about a week, it is a good spot for Denver to kind of jump this team early. The problem is they've been such a bad first half team all year that it really is frustrating for me to actually trust Denver in a 1-game situation. You could argue that we don't know what to expect from Murray and Porter because they barely played. On the other hand, they might be playing their best game because they've had ample time to rest and prepare, and maybe you'll see the Clippers come out flat. I do think I'm going to go with the Nuggets in Game 1. I like the Clippers in the series, but I think it's a good spot where Ty Lue, I don't want to say punts Game 1, but I think Denver throws the first punch, then the Clippers counter, and maybe win 3 games in a row. We'll see what happens, but I think the Nuggets need to win Game 1. When it comes to the importance of games, of course you could argue that the games are more important for the home team because they don't want to forfeit home court advantage. But when it comes to how this team is played down the stretch for both teams, and you factor in firing the head coach and the GM with like a week to go, Denver needs to get on the front foot here. If Denver falls behind early, I don't trust a brand new interim coach to pull his team out of the abyss if they go down early in the series. Do we think game one might actually be a must-win game for Denver?
I wouldn't say must win, but it's going.
It feels close to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's close. You can't give up this one, knowing what the Clippers do historically, or knowing what Tyronn Lue does historically. And then if you get that win, if the Clippers get that win, then it's like, okay, it's house money with game two because you came and you did what you were supposed to do. And that's a lot of pressure on the Nuggets to kind of respond. And you wonder, okay, can Adelman make those adjustments? Because you know the Clippers are going to adjust. So can he make those adjustments against these two Hall of Fame coaches? I would say. And do they have enough? The thing is, I just don't think they have enough guys. Like, I really just don't think they have enough guys to win it. Now, Joker is going to be Joker. I mean, obviously, but I think they have the requisite pieces, the Clippers that is, to kind of defend him. And they're going to I would just play him and Zeus straight up and not let him get those guys involved.
You'll let Joker drop a tough 35. You stop everyone else. And
I would just make him score. I mean, that's been effective. Just look at the series that they've lost or they've been competitive in and barely won. I mean, you see his numbers go up and his scoring goes up, but his assists go down. And when those other guys aren't involved, they're just kind of standing around and they're like uninvolved. You got the Michael Porter Jr.'s of the world. Christian Brown is not, really getting the ball and getting downhill. So I think you got to turn him into, not turn him into a scorer because, he's going to score regardless, but you got to make him score and cut off the water for everybody else. And I think that's what the Clippers have the ability to do with Zubac, who's, Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Yeah, he's going to end up being probably missing third-team All-NBA. I'm assuming Harden will get that spot based on how the season's unfolded. He's been a third-team All-NBA caliber player. Zubac's been fantastic.
Yeah, if it was an old system where they're doing,
positions.
Positions. He might be a second team.
Yeah, you make an argument for that. But I see Free mentioning the personnel that Denver lacks. I agree with you. Their bench is horrible. At the same point, though, for game one, I can see Denver emptying the tank with Porter Jr., Gordon, Murray, and Joker each playing like 40 minutes. It wouldn't shock me here. We'll see what Westbrook does in this game. That could be an interesting wild card, both pro and con, over the course of this series for Denver. But I think Clippers win the series. But based on Ty Lue's history, I can see them pumped in game one. Give me the Nuggets to get the job done in game one. And what I think is a must-win game at -2.5. Before we get into any of the other games for the actual card, quick reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, EdgeBoost. If you ever tried to deposit money to your account at 2 a.m. and had your deposit denied, they'll not happen to you with EdgeBoost because they're the first ever bank account built for bettors. They give you fast, reliable access to your money, both, once again, where and when you need it. Very easy to move your money around without the delays that come with traditional banks. Also, good cash reward system. Every time you deposit money to a qualified gambling account, get 0.5% cash rewards. All this for no usage fees and no minimum balance. You can also use the responsible gambling tools to help you manage your bankroll and make informed decisions. What are you waiting for? Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN, edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Sign up for the EdgeBoost card today. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag because they're the book to bet every sport. They have the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. They have MMA, baseball as well. Props in every game. You can also use it for a ton of locations. You can also use crypto for running fast payouts and easy deposits. MyBookie.ag with the promo code SGPN for 100% match up to $1,000. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast. Finish going through the first two game ones on the card. Time to move on into the Pistons and Knicks series. Knicks are laying 7.5, the biggest spread, actually, on the Saturday card. The over-under is at 220.5. Saw Detroit win 3 of the 4 meetings this season. In fact, Detroit won both games in MSG in the regular season. For this matchup, though, Knicks should be at close to full strength. This had some guys down the regular season. We're assuming they're going to be close to 100%. For the Pistons, same thing here, of course, with Ivy being out for the season. Lonte, I'll ask you, do you want to lay 7.5 with the Knicks or do you want to take the points?
I'm gonna lay it with the Knicks. First time coming around for the Pistons. I do think they've got some guys who have it. It's a nice mix of players. Like they got, of course, their superstar is a young guy who's not been through it. But you got Beasley who's been in playoff series. You have Dennis Schroeder who's been in playoff series. You have
Tobias has seen a couple collapses in his time.
Yeah, he has, but he's been there. So you got 4 core guys who play, who's been in it. But the key to this is I think that the Knicks are going to use that physicality of the Pistons against them, and they'll be able to get to the line and slow them down. And I'm worried about the bigs playing against Towns, going out to defend him in space. Duren is great. I love Duren, but I don't know if he's able to defend Cat on the perimeter in that pick and roll. The Pistons don't really have a secondary ball handler. I mean, Schroeder's okay, but can he kind of withstand what the Knicks do defensively with those big guards? I mean, with those big wings, OG and McHale kind of roaming around. So, and Josh Hart to a lesser extent. So I do think that it'll take the Pistons time to adjust. I think the first game, maybe a little bit of nerves. So I like the Knicks in this spot. Give me the Knicks first quarter as well. I think the Knicks first quarter at home in a primetime spot. And they haven't been playing extremely well down the stretch. Jalen Brunson's kind of getting his feet back under him. But I think the Knicks will go well here. I do like the 7.5. I like the under as well. I think Pistons will struggle to score a little bit until JB will be fine adjusting going forward. But I do think the Knicks are primed to win this game by double digits here. So I'll take the Knicks and I'll take under.
Yeah, so I'm going to disagree with you slightly. I agree about the under. My favorite play is the Knicks 1-10. I think they're going to win. It's plus 186. I do not want to lay 3 possessions with this team. The Knicks, with Thibodeau, they never make it easy. We know this. It always turns into a sweat for no reason. The Knicks' offense could get a bit ugly. We're assuming Brunson's fully healthy. We'll see. Detroit's inexperienced. I get it. On the other hand, they can have an us-against-the-world mentality. They won 14 games last year. Nobody gave them a shot. They'll say, you know what, you've come this far, maybe you'll go a little bit further. Maybe you'll be able to actually make it interesting. I think Detroit hangs in there. The Knicks, I just have a hard time trusting because they also have a hard time putting teams away. They seem to always be involved in close games late, and they need Brunson to bail them out late to kind of hit the dagger shot at the end. I see a similar script here. I see a close game in the fourth quarter. Maybe the Knicks go on a run and cover. But for the sake of, in my opinion, probability, I think Detroit can hang in there and lose close. And that's what I'm expecting. I'll go with the under, but I'll go with Knicks once again 1-10 at plus 186. Roby, that is on FanDuel as the main book I see. DraftKings has win margins, but that's like by 5. I want intervals of 10. So I'll go with, once again, the 1-10 for the Knicks in this one. Think the Knicks win a close game. It's ugly. The Knicks escape. And Detroit feels pretty good about themselves, hanging in there, but they do not get over the finish line. Moving on to the next game. You have the last game on the Saturday card, making good time actually on the show. You have the Timberwolves against the Lakers. The Lakers are laying 4.5 at home. For the over/under, I see 216.5. Regular season meeting was kind of fascinating because you ended up seeing a lot of low-scoring games, but it was tied 2-2. For the meetings that I just referenced, going into a bit more detail, you have seen the home team fare quite well. In fact, the home team's won every game by at least 7 points so far this season. However, the total I said before is at 216.5. Every meeting finished below 214. I like the under in this game. I see a low-scoring battle, but I do think the Lakers get better shots down the stretch. And we know this team in Staples Center, Crypto Center, whatever you want to call it. Great home court environment, good enough for me. I'll dare other guys on Minnesota offensively to step up, and I don't think they do it. Give me LeBron or Luka down the stretch. Give me the Lakers minus 4.5 in the under.
Yeah, you talk about must wins. I think this one is a must win for the Lakers. They have to win this game. They have
really?
To win it. Yeah,
I don't know if I agree with you on that.
I think they have to win it convincingly. You don't want to give Minnesota any kind of confidence.
I understand that point, but I can see the Lakers coming back down from 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it, but I just don't think you want to put yourself in that position. I mean, we saw what Minnesota is capable of last year, going inside Denver, winning in Game 7. 2 years ago they won.
That was last year. They're down 20 and they came back in Game 7.
Yeah, so we saw what they're capable of. So being on the road in a hostile – I mean, Lakers do have a great home court, so they will be in a hostile environment. I'm interested to see how the game is called because we know Minnesota defensively likes to kind of get in your face, and the Lakers are prone to getting a lot of calls. I mean, they go to the line a ton. So I'll be interested to see how that's called. I think the Lakers have to put their foot down early and often.
McDaniels will be in foul trouble in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, of course. And he's too small to guard Luka, so I'm expecting to see a little bit more of Ant on Luka, just because of the size. I think McDaniels he's given up 40 pounds, 40, 50 pounds on Luka, and we saw him match up against him when Luka was in Dallas, and he absolutely shredded the team. So I'm expecting to see the Lakers come out with some kind of strategy to load up on Ant. They're going to blitz him a ton. I mean, I think Ant's the most blitz player in the league. They're gonna blitz him.
I would go with Conley in terms of the Lakers' offense, just based on size differential.
I don't think Conley. I would take Conley unders. I don't think Conley's going to play a ton. I think
he should either. But for game one, they might use him by default before they adjust to DiVincenzo for game
I think we'll see a lot of Nah, and I think we'll see a lot of Nas Reed as well. Gobert. I mean, this series, like, we could probably start a whole podcast on this, but I do think the Lakers will outlast them here. I think this game is critical for them in their confidence going forward. I think you want to get guys like Vincent, Rui. I think Dorian Finney-Smith will be key here because he'll be assigned, I'm assuming, to Anthony Edwards a ton. So I'm interested to see how they play him. I'm pretty sure they're going to switch off a little bit and try to get, Jackson Hayes in the high pick and roll. Lakers been pretty good defending the three. Minnesota lives and dies by the three. I don't really think Randall's been really bad in the playoffs, percentage wise, and they're gonna take the ball out of Anthony Edwards' hands and make those guys beat him. Can Randall beat them or force them to adjust their defensive scheme? I don't think so.
I doubt it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So I like the Lakers here. I like the 4.5. I kind of like the under with you, but more so I like the Lakers to get it done by 6 or 7 points here. I think this will be a great series though.
I like the under in general because the Lakers probably want to play slow. When you factor in LeBron's age and you factor in Luka, they want to play in the half court.
Half court, yep.
So I think they're just going to naturally slow the pace down, and they'll dare Minnesota's half court offense, which can be extremely problematic at times for themselves, to beat them. And I feel like that's going to result in a low-scoring game. So I like the under. I see Free mentioning he thinks Randall's going to guard Luka. I agree with you.
Good luck.
I don't like that matchup. But when you factor in the options that the Timberwolves have, Randall size-wise can at least be comparable to Luka. It's not going to work. You got to try something.
Yeah.
You're going to try to use Gobert on him? Like, I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Hell no.
You're kind of just stuck.
Yeah, you are.
By the according to Free, Randall's the worst ever field goal shooter in NBA playoff history at 33%. So
I would not doubt it.
That would not shock me either.
Yeah, I think he's shooting 27 from 3.
Check out.
I think he's shooting 27 from 3.
Wouldn't shock me.
And if those first 2 or 3 don't go, trust me, I've seen him a lot as a Laker fan. If those first 2 or 3 don't go in, he's in for a bad night, I think.
Yes. Also, Randall, worth mentioning that when his offensive game craters, he starts lapsing on defense because he lets it linger and affect him on both sides of the ball.
Agreed.
Maybe he'll get benched. Maybe they end up going with Reed. And
I think Reed should play a ton.
They might go with Reed and Gobert maybe together. We'll see what happens, but I do think it's a good spot for the Lakers. You think it's going to be a good series? I don't.
You don't think it's going to be a good series?
I think the Lakers win in 5.
Oh, okay.
I think the games might be close, but I can't stand this Minnesota team. They are just so inconsistent, and the IQ on this team is also so non-existent. They take so many dumb shots in the fourth quarter of games. I just expect Luka and LeBron and Reeves to get better looks in crunch time. Maybe it's like the Nuggets-Lakers series, where one team kind of dominates the first 3 quarters, falls apart in crunch time. Maybe it's that way, but in the Lakers' favor for this one. I can see a close bunch of games, but I think the Lakers eventually get better looks and find ways to win. The Lakers, by the way, 31-10 at home. They're monstrous at home.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll go with the Lakers to defend home court, and I do like the under in this game as well. Anyway, let's go wrap it up for all 4 games on the Saturday card. Quick reminder, though, before we get into the Lock and Dog place, you can find, once again, our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy, because you can also use their Underdog Pick'em to play some of these games. You can also use their Pick'em for a chance to win your times of money. You can mix and match your sports with the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, MLB, MMA. When you sign up, though, use the promo code NBSGPN to claim a special first time offer up to $1,000 bonus cash. Fantasy promo code NBA SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm because they're the home of back picks and props. They also are live Major League Baseball. They models on NBA and golf as well. You could also build your model if you want to do it that way. You could also use their discount codes. 2 discount codes, 25% off the monthly deal by using the promo code SGPN25, 50% off the annual deal, promo code SGPN50. Once again, Rhythm, RATHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the games on Saturday. Now it's time for the Lock and Dog picks and the Underdog play. Lonte, what is your Lock and Dog for the Saturday card? Yeah,
I talked a lot about it in the game. I like Denver first quarter -1. You can get that at reduced. You can get like -105. Bet365, FanDuel, DraftKings. I think you can get probably reduced as well. So I like -1. I think they come out A lot of unknown for Denver. I mean, a lot of unknown for the Clippers facing Denver early on. I think the adjustments will take place and they'll get settled down. But I think early on, Denver comes out and has a good game here. So I like Denver -1 in the first quarter. For the dog, let's go Luka triple-double. Let me make sure.
I did not see that coming. Okay, we went off the board there. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is.
I got to imagine it's a very nice price.
6-1. Let's go 6-1. I think. I mean, he's averaging in the playoffs against. I mean, obviously we know it's a different team, but he's averaging I think 32, 9.5 rebounds and like 8.3 assists. In his career, he's averaging close to a triple-double. I think like close to like 8 and 8, like 24, 8 and 8. So I think he can get there. I mean, I think he's going to have a lot of control. LeBron will probably, defer a little bit more here to kind of save his energy towards the end. Rebounding, he's going to have to rebound because of the size of Minnesota. So I expect him to be and Luka gets a lot of like long rebounds as well. He's really good at finding the ball off the rim. He's probably going to be in the post if they start off with McDaniels, get a couple of putbacks. So I think he can get the rebounds there. The assist I think will be there because I think guys will knock down shots. So let's go Luka triple-double 6-1.
Yeah. So for my lock, I was tempted by a couple player props. I do want to ask you though, since I just recorded the Mothership Show with Terrell and I covered these games, can I recycle plays or should I go with something different?
Hey, it's a winner is a winner.
Just asking.
Yeah.
My lock though is actually my lock's on the Sunday card actually, so I have to do something different for the lock. The dog though I can repeat. For the lock, give me the under in that Lakers and Timberwolves game at 216.5. Once again, all 4 meetings this season finished below 214. The Lakers want to play slow. Minnesota is going to rely on their defense. The Lakers, I think, are going to once again try to outplay Minnesota in the half court, try to limit the transition opportunities. Give me a low-scoring game. Give me the under. I think that one of these teams does not reach 100 points. My pick's Minnesota, but give me the under in this one as my lock. For the dog, I will recycle. Give me Giannis 35-plus points at plus 155. Think that if Milwaukee's going to keep this game close, Giannis has to go crazy. Indiana can't guard him anyway. And I see Giannis coming out motivated after missing the entire series last year against this team as his teammates got eliminated. Give me Giannis hit the ground running here. Give me Giannis 35-plus at plus 155 as my dog for the show. Now, Lonte, for the Underdog Fantasy entry, do you want to just bring back Giannis points?
I like that, man. I like it.
Okay. I was going to ask if you wanted to merge rebounds or just points.
I would take points rebounds. I like points rebounds.
Okay. I was going to say his points are at 31.5. If you want to throw in the rebounds with that, you can get PR at 43.5.
Yeah. I mean, he's got 35 and 13 written all over him.
Then why would we not just take the points?
No, that's fair.
Because if he's going for 35, he's going over. So
yeah. Well, yeah. Either way, I mean, I think either way, I think I like both of them. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll go with Giannis. I'll go with the higher on his points. I just think the minutes are going to be there. I mean, his numbers against Indiana, 34 in the last meeting. He had gone under in 2 straight. He had 30 in one of them. Had 37 in another game, 26-30, 64, 37, and 54. So he might play 40 minutes. He's going to have to with no Dame. I think that they'll maximize his usage with no Dame. So I'll go with the Giannis points here for the first option. So give me the higher on that. Do we want to go for a Connolly fade?
Absolutely. I'm down with that.
He played 15 minutes in a must-win game against Utah. 10 this
under
season.
PRA. Under. Or lower.
That is at 14.5.
Yeah.
So we can go with the lower on that. Actually, a good price on Underdog as well.
Yep.
It's minus 150 on BetMGM, but he actually got a good number there for Underdog, I believe. So I'll go with the lower on Connolly, 14.5 PRA. And then what is one other play you'd like for the games?
I love Towns. PR higher.
Okay.
I love
Towns, PR. I'll ask you, though, if we want to borrow a play from the chat. I do see Free mentioning Kawhi 24.5 points. You prefer that or you prefer the cat play? You can be honest. I'm sure Free can get over it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think that's a good play as well. It's just, I guess we can go. It's up to you. I think you break the tie. I mean, I like both of them, but I prefer Towns. I think Towns has a good matchup versus
Durant in Detroit.
Yeah, I think he has a good matchup as long as he can stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. You're looking at the number being at 30. Sorry, just trying to find the number. Underdog, they actually went a bit rogue with the line here. So Underdog has it at 35.5. You can find 34.5 at other spots, but it's fine.
Yeah.
He has had at least 35 in each of the two of the most recent meetings. So I think he'll be in line for a pretty good game. Unless there's foul trouble, he has to play a ton in this game because he's the only guy that's going to have neutralized Duren. You could argue that Mitchell Robinson might play, but he has no offensive talent, and he's going to allow Duren to park himself under the lane. You need Cat to play for the floor spacing, so I do think it's going to be a good opportunity for Cat to play well. We can take that as the other option. So once again, the plays here for the underdog entry for the Saturday games, we're going to go with Cat higher, 35.5 PR. We are going to go with Giannis higher, 31.5 points. And we're going to go with Connolly lower, 14.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Anyway, that's where I wrap it up. A reminder that we had another episode earlier today for the playing games on Friday. Going to have another episode for the Sunday games tomorrow. But Lonte, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good, man. We just broke down perfectly. I think we could just get to the window. Hopefully we can get to the window and get some good playoff games, more importantly.
Yep, I definitely agree. It should be fun. Anyway, till next time, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.